This is very interesting. Please watch.
Angels do not bring customers. Trust me, I've prayed all kinds of prayers for business. Angels don't bring customers. Marketing brings customers. Lying on the floor in my shop, calling forth customers, pointing to the book, standing on scripture didn't bring customers. The business still failed. I've had 9 businesses. 6 have failed. 2 were draws and 1 is struggling. And I say that with intentionality because failure is a part of business. Okay? And it's very important as children of God to understand this because this is where a lot of us get it wrong. So if you failed, did you pray? Was it a good idea? Was it a God idea? You know, you get those kind of miserable counselors when you fail. They sit down in front of you and say, so what happened? Did you pray before you started? Say yes. And what did God say? God said I should do it. Okay, so why has it failed? Now, these are logical questions, but they're not useful questions. Those are the questions that people went to Joseph when he was in the prison and said, so did you pray? Yes. Did you fast? Yes. So why are you in prison? But they haven't seen what you're learning along the journey. Every single failure that I have had, and one day when I have time, I'll tell you about all my failed businesses. Many different. I had a Christian bookshop. How more anointed an idea can be a Christian bookshop? How more anointed can you get? So when the bills would come and I couldn't pay, they'd say, Father, this is your work. This is your words. I had scriptures that I was standing on. God gave the word. Great were the company of those who published it. I failed. Not only did I fail, I ended up paying debts. But do you know what else happened? I learned. I learned what to do. I learned what not to do. So please, if there's anybody here who's failed and thinks that maybe it's not for me, I want to encourage you that if you get another great idea, and hopefully when I finish this presentation, I'll show you how to validate it. Not in a spiritual way, right? Because having a God idea does not exempt you from the market. Yeah? And being anointed, and even if Pastor Paul pours oil on your head, you are going out there, you will face competition. You will face unfair competition. You will face fair competition. You will face the impact of your own bad decisions. But it's part of the entrepreneurial journey.
So, Mr. Adeosun is another classic case of being careful about what you read about people before meeting them, right? And how, if you really don't know people and just hear what their enemies say about them, you will be wrong, okay? And you will really be wrong. But let's go to this conversation. Marketing is a critical aspect of business. I always say this to our managers who run our businesses, our MDs of subsidiaries. Whenever the company is low on liquidity, your priority isn't, even though it sounds weird and wicked, but it's the truth, your priority should not be to pay your bills. Your priority should be marketing. Because if you take the little cash you have and then you use it to pay bills, now that won't be enough to pay all the bills. So what happened? You also have shut the door to being able to attract new money to come in. The classic case of how businesses die. The business is dead. So if you have liquidity problem, the little cash you have should be pushed on marketing. Now it's weird because at that point, people start seeing the company's face everywhere, right? They're seeing your advert. And so some of your vendors will probably say, you say you don't have money, but we'll see you do marketing. But yes, exactly why I need to do marketing. Yes, I need to sell to make enough money to pay you. Because the little I have isn't enough to pay you. Oh, Lord. So, but what do most Christians do? You lie down on the floors. You go on prayer mountain. That's the period you need to hold your product and say, come and buy. Come and buy. Come and buy. I have something for you. Come do business with me. That is the time. That is the time. Okay, so failure in business. Again, church people. Did you hear God? Are you sure you are praying enough? One of my very friend who is a pastor one time called me. I said, I had a revelation that you had issues with this particular regulator, and and they made a negative publication about your company, but I saw you overcoming and all of that. And when it was done, I said, man of God, for the next 5 years, I'm in expansion mode. So you will have more of this revelation. Yes, you will have more. Okay? And just so that next time you have it, just pray for me. And I said, just keep praying. But I'm in an expansion mode, and in an expansion phase of every business, you will face challenges. And sometimes it could be with the regulators. It's part of business, right? I was shocked the day Dr. Kosso said, I've had FBI challenge before. He sat me down in my house in Houston and said, you're expanding in the US, be ready that FBI can come knocking at your door one day. He said, I've had FBI issue before. I said, yeah. He said, yes. So yes. So it's part of the journey. There are lots of things you will face in the course of being an entrepreneur. But what's beautiful about entrepreneurship is who you're becoming. It's more important than what you become, right? It's the end goal. In other words, the process is more important than the end goal. What it turns you to: resilience, patience, character development, ability to be persistent and persevere and keep moving in spite of the mountains, the crises, the challenges. Keep moving, keep forging ahead. All that is more important than just that, voila, I'm now a billionaire. Unfortunately, this generation wants to skip that process. Just end up being a billionaire. No. Some of you have been seeing the series I've been doing with my son. My son became a teenager. He's now 13 years. So I said, well, to welcome you to teenage years, I need to start showing you beyond, all this, you do vacation with your parents, you travel all over the world. You need to know where it started from. You need to know what we've been through to be here. You need to know the process and where it started. And I've been doing that with my son, because he's now a teenager, and I think it's better to have this conversation when they turn teenagers. I don't want to start it too early, and I don't want to start it too late. Okay? And so for me, as they get to 13, I start. So some of you have been to carry your daughter along. Okay, maybe you go teach me how to raise my children. Okay? When each of them gets to 13, I start the journey with them. Because I also want them to enjoy their childhood, right? Enjoy before you are 13, play, have those beautiful memories. But once you are 13, you're becoming an adult. We need to start introducing you to School of Hard Knocks. School of Hard Knocks. And it's important to know that, tough times don't last, tough people do. Challenges are food of champions. Enjoy it. Eat it for breakfast. Love it. Move on. And you will face it. When sometimes I share my story, and I notice this with Gen Z, when they come close to me a bit, I intentionally scare them with failures and crisis and problems. I get vulnerable around them. Some of them run away from me. It's okay. I'm happy they ran away. Okay? When they are ready, they'll come back. Because they will look for a shorter cut. And after a while, they will eventually... we're here in China, and one of my mentees just was sharing with them yesterday during our Billionaire Habit hangout. And we were sharing with them how many times I would tell him something, and he doesn't agree. And he end up the same 6 months later. You probably sometimes even say, this will never happen to me. 6 months later, the exact thing will happen. I remember it was last year, just last year. We were having an interview with the CEO of Palmtech, and we were talking about how, when you treat staff right, they will never leave you. I laugh. I remember saying to him, I didn't know when I said it even on stage. I said, maybe the luck you have had is that you are nowhere. If you have been in Lagos, you will see how competitors will snatch your best hand so fast, so unfair, okay, and so quickly. And unfortunately for him, this year he had the first dose of two of his top hands leaving, in such an unfair manner to him. So what elders can see in business, sitting down, you the young one, you may not see it, but the lesson is one of those things, part of life. The best you can just do is learn to fix meetings, to learn from those who have gone ahead. Attend events like Platform. I'm a beneficiary of Platform. There's so lot to learn. There's a lot to learn from those who have gone ahead of you. Okay? Well, I hope this inspires everyone. I love you all. Keep winning. Bye-bye.